Hello everybody, my name is Elliot, I'm from Under the Ledge and welcome back to a new video. In today's video we're talking about the secret to creating cinematic images. Throughout history, artists have been trying to create three-dimensional images in their art, whether this is through the use of sculpture, drawings, paintings, photography or films, which is what we will be talking about today. So to start, how have artists made their work cinematic in the past? The answer is that they've made it three-dimensional. Now when you're working in 3D space, for example sculpting, it's very easy to make your work 3D. However, when you're working on a 2D surface, to make it seem 3D is a lot harder. So how do you actually make a two-dimensional surface 3D? The answer is to create depth. But how do you create depth? Well, the answer is there's many different ways, but today I'm just going to be giving you a few. Firstly is the use of lighting. Lighting plays a huge part when it comes to creating cinematic images. Choosing to backlight your subject can create a huge difference when it comes to what makes your image look traditionally film-like. I actually made a whole video about natural light, which breaks down backlighting and how to use window light. You can watch the video here. Secondly, there is the use of foreground, midground and background. Shooting against a flat background never really looks cinematic. To add depth to your image, try using layers. If you can clearly identify foreground, midground and background in your image, it should look slightly better. Here's a few examples. Just remember that you can always break the rules, but make sure you're breaking them for a creative effect. For example, use a flat background to make your character feel trapped. Next, there is the use of depth of field or aperture. There is a shallow depth of field, which is typically what you would see in a Hollywood movie, and the reason why Hollywood use a smaller f-stop is to create a blurry background which creates depth in your image. And what we're actually seeing now in the use of portrait mode is that all cameras are capable of shooting with a shallow depth of field. I just kind of wish that people knew what so-called portrait mode was doing to their image, and that you can still create beautiful images with a wide depth of field. Finally, there is the use of colour. Colour plays a huge role in what creates cinematic images. Hue, saturation and brightness will all have an impact on how the colours in your image actually look. To be honest, there's quite a lot to break down here, so if you want to see a full video explaining colour theory, comment it in the comments below. Okay, so to recap, to make something look cinematic, it's to make it look three-dimensional. And you can do this through creating depth. Ways to create depth include lighting, backlighting, using layers, depth of field and colour. Thank you very much for watching. Before we go, I just want to tell you about our weekly email newsletter. Every Wednesday, I send out a quick 2-minute read about what I and others have been doing in the film industry. You can sign up via the link in the description. Also, last thing before we go, I now have a Twitter account. There's a link in the description. With all of that said, I want to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.